subscribe, share, comment. I appreciate the dialogue. I appreciate the commentary. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to make this one quick. I got a huge headache, like a tension headache right in the eye. Um, yeah, I don't know what it is. But anyhow, I want to talk about giving employees breaks in California. And I'm pretty sure that the requirements are very similar in your state. Regardless if you're in California or not, if the laws are different, please comment below. Help us all out. Guys, today's super quick discussion includes references from this book. This is my book, The Private Patrol Operator. You can buy it on Amazon. Right now it's selling for $250. Or you can reach out directly to me. I give you a huge discount. Huge discount. This week, I will be going to the post office probably once or twice. Probably just once. Maybe Thursday. And I'll give you a huge discount on this. I'll tell you, it's not going to be $250. Reach out to me at ssundahl@crimebullet.com. My information is in the description box below. So anyhow, I'm going to read you page 214. And this involves the 30-minute breaks. Labor Code 512 tells us that employees who work more than 5 hours in a workday are entitled to a 30-minute unpaid meal break. So if you work more than 5 hours, okay, you are entitled to a 30-minute unpaid meal break. The break should be provided after no more than 5 hours of work, but with a mutual agreement in writing, this can be waived. If the work shift exceeds 10 hours, a second 30-minute meal break is required. And those of you just chiming in, we're on page 214. However, with the mutual agreement, the employee can waive the second break as long as he has not worked more than 12 hours and he took his first 30-minute break. Now, what is very important about Labor Code 512 is that the break is not interrupted. So if you are, your employer put you on break and you're required to listen to the radio just in case something happens, you have to compensate the employee. The employee is technically on the clock. If you tell your employees, hey, you can't leave the work site for lunch, right? That would involve you having to pay that employee for those 30 minutes because they're not relieved of their duties. If you have to stay at your job site, then you're not relieved of your duties. Guys, each year, private security companies screw this up. They screw it up every year. Every year, there's a new case. And I am no short of examples. Matter of fact, page 215, all the way to page 218. So for 3 pages, I discuss the most recent case law. I am always no short of cases. The biggest offenders are Allied Universal and Securitas, historically. But there's somebody new in town, and I mentioned them in a bunch of videos, and it seems like they could do whatever they want. I'm going to get a hold of that court document, and I'll probably include a revision on that, on the newest cases in my 40-hour Private Patrol Operator Leadership and Development class. That class, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's a 40-hour class. If you're interested, I think it's like $500, $499.99. That class, the cool thing about that class, it provides you forms. So, let's just say, let's just say you want a way of documenting that your employees had uninterrupted lunches, or you want a way of documenting just in case they had an interruption and then they resume their lunch. Like, don't you want a formal document on that? Well, basically what you do is you'll have your employees sign a document And then as an employer, you keep that document with you handy until the statute of limitations run out. I know I kind of sound like employer based, which I think is not a bad idea. Like, I know that most of the audience on this channel are private security officers. They don't own companies. They're not supervisors, not managers. But there's a large portion that involve private security company owners or managers or leaders. And I think when you I think the fairest way to treat an employee is if the employer and the employee knows the law. If the employee does not know the law and the employer knows the law and takes advantage of it, I don't think that's helping trust in the private security field or profession among employers and employees. And that's what usually happens. The employer knows more about labor codes than the employee, and they take advantage of it. With these forms that I've created in that class, the forms, they're not available on here, but in the class, you could download them, and the employees will read basically what their rights are, right? They'll understand what their rights are, and the employers will understand their obligations. And there's no dispute as to whether or not your lunch was interrupted. And as an employee, if you believe your lunch was interrupted, then you don't sign the document. And you handle that dispute with your employer before we have to drag this out to court. Okay? Once again, reach out to me, guys. This week I'm going to go post office. I have author versions of this book. I probably have like 7 or 10 of these books available, and I give you a huge discount. Mike is here. Social Security Specialist is here, and that's it. There's some trolls here, and Mike from Professional Security Journal is definitely taking care of them. So that's all I got, guys. If you have any questions, concerns, let me know. And make sure you guys sign up for my 40-hour online private patrol operator leadership and development class. If you own a security company or you manage one, or you want your managers to be able to speak more articulately better, if that's even a word, you want them to have more knowledge of labor codes, of the business professions code, sign your employees up for the class. Let's see. Anthony asked, where can I get the book? Yeah, you go on Amazon. You could type in the private patrol operator on Amazon. It's $250, which is rather pricey for many people. Or you can reach out to me privately through my email address, ssundahl@crimebullet.com, and I will give you a huge discount. So it's up to you. FCJ9 says, I have to go back for my lunch as well. Be safe. Social Security Specialist says, I highly recommend it. Yeah. Social Security Specialist has a copy of this book as well. That's ironic, FCJ9. I have to go back to lunch. All right. So that's all I got, guys. Take care. Take pride in your profession. Take pride in what you do. I'm actually copying I was copying Mike's closing line from the Professional Security Journal. Social Security Specialist is eating as well. You guys are funny. All right, guys. I'm out. Take care.